the most expensive celebrity lawsuits ever filed. Have you ever thought about how much money big names in Hollywood risk when they go to court? These famous lawsuits, which ranged from nasty divorces to intense contract disputes, not only made the news, but they also cost a lot of money. Who lost the most, and what caused these court battles? Come with us as we look into the most expensive cases against famous people ever. Who do you think the famous people were in these shocking court cases? Meghan Markle versus Associated Newspapers. Immediately upon her ascension to the ranks of the royal family, Meghan Markle has been the subject of intense scrutiny from the British press. Her case against Associated Newspapers Limited, a British newspaper publisher, was launched in October 2019, and it was against the publication of a handwritten letter that was quite emotional and was written between her and her father, who she had been divorced from. The Duchess filed a lawsuit for a violation of her copyright and a breach of her privacy, and after a court battle that lasted for 3 years, she prevailed. She then issued a statement in which she detailed her position on the brutal nature of the tabloid industry. Britney Spears versus Jamie Spears. The court fights that Britney Spears and her father, Jamie Spears, have been engaged in for more than a decade have seen both parties involved. Judge Riva Gutz placed Spears under a conservatorship against her will in February of 2008, and her father, Jamie Spears, was appointed to serve as the conservator throughout the process. Soon after that, Spears was taken to a hospital for involuntary psychiatric assessments on 2 separate occasions. These evaluations were conducted because of worries over her mental health and substance addiction. In the year 2020, followers of Britney started a movement that eventually became known as #FreeBritney. This movement garnered the attention of the media all over the world and led to the production of a documentary on the issue. During the month of June, Spears made her first public statement, requesting that her conservatorship be terminated. This statement revealed the extent of the abuse and maltreatment that she had endured over the course of the previous year. November 2021 marked the culmination of the conservatorship in an official capacity. This case brought to light the necessity of human rights reform and conservatorship in the United States, despite the fact that many fans believe that this is simply a peek of the entire story and anticipate other court battles. Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. The trial of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard was something that was brought up in every conversation that took place only a few short months ago. Amber Heard, who is also an actor, has accused Johnny Depp of domestic violence, and she detailed her allegations in an essay that she wrote for the Washington Post in 2018. According to Depp, Heard was the one who was abusive towards him, and he disputed all of the claims that were made against him. The consequence of this was that he filed a lawsuit against her for defamation, and she responded by filing a lawsuit of her own, alleging the same thing. On social media, clips from the trial, many of which made fun of Heard's comments and those of her legal team, went viral and became widely shared. It was determined that Heard was responsible for all 3 of the defamation allegations that were brought forth, and she was sentenced to pay her ex-husband $15 million. On the other hand, Depp was found responsible for one of the defamation charges, and he was compelled to pay Heard $2 million. Michael Jackson versus the state of California. In the 20th century, Michael Jackson is widely regarded as one of the most influential figures in the world of culture. His lifestyle and behavior came under scrutiny after he was accused of sexually abusing a child in 1993. Despite the fact that he made numerous major contributions to the fields of music, dance, and design, his lifestyle and behavior were questioned. Although he contested the allegations and reached a settlement with the plaintiff at the time, he was charged with yet another lawsuit in 2005 under claims that were very similar to the ones he had previously settled. Jackson was found not guilty on all counts on June 13, 2005, according to the verdict. Even now, many people continue to wonder about whether or not this verdict was accurate. Kendall Jenner versus Gregory Messer. Kendall Jenner, who enjoys the distinction of being the highest-paid supermodel in the world, has undoubtedly been subjected to a number of legal disputes. It is possible that the most publicized incident occurred between her and Gregory Messer, a trustee of the United States Bankruptcy Court, regarding her misleading marketing of the Fyre Festival, which was a music event that did not take place in 2017. Seven Messer, who was attempting to recover money on behalf of a large number of creditors, argued that Jenner not only failed to disclose to her followers that she was paid for the advertising, but she also led them to believe that the festival would be filled with famous models present on an exotic private island with first-class culinary experiences and a luxury atmosphere. In the end, she consented to pay a settlement consisting of $90,000. Ashley Judd and Rose McGowan versus Harvey Weinstein. In the beginning of October 2017, the New York Times published a piece that documented several allegations of sexual assault committed by Harvey Weinstein. It has come to light that Weinstein, who is widely regarded as one of the most powerful and important men in Hollywood, has paid off individuals who have accused him of sexual harassment. The Me Too movement received a significant boost from this report, which also increased the amount of pressure placed on the authorities to initiate a comprehensive inquiry into the producing company. In addition, the evidence that was discovered was incomprehensible. In February of 2020, Weinstein was found guilty of rape and sexual assault and received a sentence of 23 years in prison. This was preceded by the revelation of numerous additional women who had been subjected to his horrifying behavior. Goop versus the state of California. For marketing products like quartz vaginal eggs that are intended to improve women's sexual and mental health, but are, in fact, just deceptive advertisements, the lifestyle and wellness firm Goop, which is owned by actress Gwyneth Paltrow, has received a great deal of criticism. The prosecution prevailed in the case, and Goop was required to pay over $150,000 in damages and issue refunds to any customers who had purchased the product between January 12, 2017 and August 31, 2017. O.J. Simpson versus the state of California. The people of the state of California versus Orenthal. James Simpson is without a doubt the court case that has received the greatest television coverage in the history of the world. Former National Football League player, broadcaster, and actor O.J. Simpson was put on trial for the murders of his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ronald Goldman. The trial was held in the United States. The trial has been referred to as the trial of the century ever since it took place due to the significant amount of international exposure that it received. As Simpson was judged not guilty of both murders on the day of the verdict, more than 100 million people across the world watched or listened to the proceedings. This was without a doubt one of the most significant legal cases that ever took place in the annals of history. Lindsay Lohan versus E-Trade. In the year 2010, the famous actress who played the role of Mean Girls, Lindsay Lohan, filed a lawsuit against E-Trade for utilizing her name in one of their television advertisements without first obtaining her consent beforehand. Lindsay, a milkaholic infant, was featured in the advertisement that was broadcast during the Super Bowl as part of the broadcast. Upon receiving the response, E-Trade asserted that Lindsay Lohan is not the only Lindsay. Withdrawal of the complaint occurred almost 6 months after it was filed, and the contents of the agreement are still being kept hidden. Travis Scott versus Astro World attendees. 10 concert-goers unfortunately passed tragically during the live performance at Travis Scott's Astro World Music Festival in November 2021 as a consequence of compression asphyxia, which occurred in the crowded arena. This tragic event brought an end to Travis Scott's music festival. Over 200 lawsuits were filed against the singer by participants and members of their families, despite the fact that there were 10 fatalities and countless more injuries during the event. According to their assertion, Scott was aware of the scenario while he was performing, but he decided not to take any action to stop it. In December, Scott submitted a request to be removed from at least 11 of the cases that had been brought against him. According to people close to Scott, the rapper was not informed of the tragedy until several hours after his performance. Love hearing about the drama behind the headlines? Hit subscribe and stay updated on all the biggest celebrity stories and legal battles.